Space technology is very beneficial to us because without it, we wouldn't be able to observe as much of our universe as we can now. We are able to travel to other planets, such as Mars, without actually sending people to that planet. Instead, we travel to Mars and observe it using Mars rovers. Mars rovers are like geologists. They take rock samples on Mars and study them for different things, such as signs of life or water long ago. The Mars exploration rovers, Spirit and Opportunity, were launched in 2003 to find signs of water on Mars, and the Curiosity rover was launched in 2011 to search for early signs of life on the red planet. Mars rovers' main uses are to learn more about Mars's history and what it was once like on the red planet billions of years ago. So how do these rovers work? The main body of Mars rovers house the electronics of the rover, including its computer and batteries. This body also helps keep these electronic parts warm, which is important because temperatures on Mars can get as low as -96 degrees Celsius. For this reason, the body of a rover is called the Warm Electronics Box, or web. Inside the web, there is a module called the Rover Electronics Module, or REM, which is where the main computer of the rover is stored. This computer is what controls communications between people and the rover, and also controls the motors which make the rover move and instruments that will be used for analyzing data found on the surface. So how do we receive this information gathered by the rovers on Mars? On Earth, NASA has a network of 3 giant antennas located around the globe. This network is called the Deep Space Network, or DSN. The Mars rovers can send messages directly to these antennas, but they usually send their data to spacecraft orbiting Mars, such as the 2001 Mars Odyssey and the Mars Global Surveyor, which then send the information to Earth. The rovers do this because it takes less energy for them to send data a shorter distance. The distance from Mars to Earth can range from about 55 to 400 million kilometers, depending on where each planet is in its orbit. For reference, the Sun is about 150 million kilometers away from Earth. The DSN antennas are located around the world so that the rovers can send messages at any time of day, no matter which way the Earth is facing. As I said before, Mars is very far away from Earth. So far, in fact, that messages sent back and forth from the Mars rovers and Earth can take up to 24 minutes to send and receive. This is because the radio signals to send these messages don't travel instantly. The waves take a certain amount of time to reach each planet. This delay in time ranges from 4 to 24 minutes, depending on where Mars and Earth are in their orbits, but the average time is 13 minutes. This is a difficult issue because even live footage from the rovers take this long to reach Earth, which means that we are always seeing the rover from how it was 13 minutes ago. There could be a storm happening on Mars, and we wouldn't know about it for 13 minutes. This also proves to be a challenge for navigation. To ensure the rover doesn't get knocked over or caught in a ditch that we can't see at the time, the rover has a top speed of about 5 centimeters per second on flat terrain. It drives for about 10 seconds at most before stopping to assess its surroundings for 20 seconds, and then it continues for another 10 seconds. It is a very slow process, but this isn't a problem that can be fixed. Aside from limitations of Mars rovers, how have these rovers benefited us? How have they changed our understanding of the universe? The main goal of any Mars rover is to learn more about Mars. Spirit and Opportunity, the 2 rovers involved in the Mars Exploration Rovers mission, were sent to find out if there was ever flowing water on Mars like there is on Earth today. Their mission was successful. The rovers discovered traces of water from billions of years ago, which means Mars could have been a planet suitable for life at one point. They found this out by analyzing rocks on the planet's surface, and by doing so, the rovers found the mineral jarosite, a mineral that forms in the presence of water. The Mars exploration rovers also looked for erosion of Martian rocks that could have been caused by water. This water could have been flowing like rivers on Earth during the earlier stages of Mars's life, rather than being frozen underground. Spirit and Opportunity, along with the Mars Pathfinder and Sojourner rovers, discovered that Mars's ancient climate could have once been warm, or at least warmer than it is now. The ancient Martian atmosphere is thought to have been once thicker like Earth's, allowing it to trap heat from the sun underneath it. An even more exciting discovery comes from the Curiosity rover. Its mission was to find if Mars could have ever supported life, and during its still ongoing journey, it discovered organic carbon and other molecules. Organic molecules are the building blocks of life, so life could have existed on Mars long ago, or at least the right compounds were around back then for living things to survive. This changes our understanding of the universe because it shows that life may be or have been on other planets besides Earth. The estimated amount of money NASA is supposed to receive in 2019 from the government is around $19.6 billion. To put in perspective as to how much money this really is, the latest Mars rover, Curiosity, cost $2.5 billion to build, launch, and land on Mars. Some people think that if NASA had the same budget as the military, nearly $600 billion, that we would already have people living on Mars. This may not necessarily be true, but if NASA did have a bigger budget, we would surely know much more about outer space, and our technology would likely be more advanced than it is today, since research and experiments would happen at a much faster rate, allowing for more advancements in technology. Personally, I believe more money should be put into space exploration, so projects such as sending people to Mars could happen much quicker. It is a difficult question to answer though. Should NASA receive more funding so we can learn more about Mars and the universe? Or should this money be used for problems on Earth, such as medical research or poverty? It is worth noting though that without NASA's research and technology, we wouldn't have many of the everyday items that we have today. For example, NASA was working to develop high-quality cameras small enough to fit on a spacecraft, which later became cell phone cameras. Technology originally used in parachutes to land the Viking lander spacecraft on Mars in 1976 is now used for radial tires on cars. NASA has also contributed in medical research by creating technology that would later be used for CAT scanners and artificial limbs. Mars rovers have discovered a lot about how our universe works. One of the most fascinating discoveries is that our planet isn't the only possible planet to have life. Life may be, or have been, on other planets besides Earth. Mars isn't the only possible candidate for life though. One of Jupiter's moons, Europa, was observed to have water plumes erupting from its surface, and where there is water, there is usually life. This moon has oceans which look very promising in harboring life. Saturn's moon, Enceladus, has also been observed to emit water plumes. When we think of alien life, most people would think of a planet far away outside of our galaxy. This may not be the case though. Aliens could be closer than we think.